So in Halo 2, there is a secret Marine squad that is scripted to automatically die on the mission's sacred icon. So, can we save them? Let's give it a shot. So this secret Marine squad is located towards the end of the mission's sacred icon. And even if you've played Halo 2 many times, there's a high chance that you never knew these Marines existed. Now normally on this mission, the second that you enter the room where these Marines are located, they are scripted to die. So in the normal playthrough of the game, you never actually get to see them alive. But on this mission, at one point, they are technically alive. Now normally I would write this off as impossible, but a few weeks ago, my brother and I successfully pulled off a glitch called the Dead or Alive, which allows one player to be in a dead body. My initial thought was, well, if I could transfer this methodology to this secret Marine squad, maybe I could get a dead player over there while the Marines are still alive. With the Lion's Mane, I've been taking 2 scoops of this L-citrulline D L-malate 2-in-1 with 2 Lion's Mane capsules, and dude, you will not run out of energy. People are mad. They're like, what is this sponsorship? I'm not getting paid. I just like to support this brand, okay? Okay, so with my personal plug over, I didn't want to show the exact same process of a video from just a few weeks ago, but I'll let you know that the Dead or Alive glitch that we were able to successfully pull off, well, we tried for over an hour and we tried it over 25 times and nothing was working. I'm not going to sit here and subject you to that. We're like an hour into this, and the step that took us 5 minutes last time isn't working, just like when we did last week on the Arbiter. So I'm going to fast forward to when we actually did make it. To become player merged, which then allows you upon death to have one player separated into a dead body that is alive, you have to kill 3 Sentinel enforcers right at the beginning of the mission, throw a grenade in the corner to kill a grunt, and then throw a grenade at the back Sentinel panel and also one to the right. In total, you should be throwing 5 grenades. If you go up to this ramp in this corner, player 2's prompt to respawn will disappear. If player 2 walks off the edge while player 1 jumps in this corner, player 2's prompt to respawn will eventually disappear. From this part, you just have to restart the mission and then do the exact same steps with the grenades. This time, instead of pinching in that corner, player 2 is going to walk off the map once they respawn in. Player 1 will then walk off the map as well. If everything works, you will be in the same body. Dude, what, did you start spawning in with a plasma pistol?
No.
Like, when you first came in the map?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's it. For whatever reason, sometimes you start with a carbine, and now it worked when we didn't have... Okay, that's crazy. Oh. So although you didn't see all the failed attempts, in those attempts I had a carbine equipped from mission start. For whatever reason, when I finally restarted the mission for the 50th time, one of the times I started with a plasma pistol. And the time that I started with a plasma pistol, well, we made it the first attempt. So if you're trying this yourself, I don't know if that has something to do with it, but maybe try to play for a seed where you start with a plasma pistol instead of starting with the carbine. People are going to say, I swear you already did this one. I swear you already did this one.
Well, to be fair, we have done the same like mechanics trick for 3 weeks in a row. So,
well, that's in order to be on the frontier edge, the cutting edge of the science of Halo. You have to incorporate some of the same methods.
Are you edging?
Jeez Louise.
Dude, are you gesture maxing clavicular ASU frat house? I don't know.
So yes, while we are using a tricking technique that we had used the previous couple of weeks, this time we were doing it for a completely different purpose. The plan, after we got past this piston and into the foggy flood area, was to go all the way to the end platform. Now, the idea was to clear out all the flood before we got into this room, and then I was going to separate my brother from my body in the corner of this room. Before we filmed, I went and checked the activation area for these Marines, and it seemed like if you were to the right of this specific area, they wouldn't activate until you moved forward. So the hope was that once I separated my brother into a dead player, I could then launch him with grenades forward to the Marines without hitting the activation myself. Because he's a dead player, the hope was that he wouldn't register as alive and crossing the trigger, so the Marines would be alive when he got there. Alright, well then go to the right here and don't press too far forward. Go in the corner and kill yourself like you did previously. Yeah. Now after I spawn back in with my brother's dead body on the ground, I can't press too far forward, or else hypothetically I would hit the activation that I found earlier. Now, I wasn't sure if this entire room was an activation, but in my testing, I found that if you were in the corner of this room and flew over to the Marines, they would still be alive and dying the instant you crossed them. But what makes this challenging is on this part of Sacred Icon, there are a bunch of barriers in the way, and the only way that I would be able to move my brother is with a series of grenade explosions. So I would need to throw grenades at him and get lucky and hope that eventually he gets through all the different barriers and pillars. Now I got a checkpoint as his body was about halfway through this journey, which I wasn't sure if that was a good thing or a bad thing. I didn't know if that checkpoint activated the Marines to have already died, or if it was going to be a convenient revert system for us to be able to get there quickly. Regardless, it's time for the music. Let me know if you see Marines up there.
I see a grenade. Oh, I fell through the map. Goodbye. I'm back. In the corner. I see explosions. Lots of explosions. I have exploded out of the map. Hold up. Did you just go back?
Yes.
I said hold up, dude. Because I just got to a different part of the map. There's a bridge there. Nothing else.
Okay, you see Marines around you.
I see a dead Marine. Yes.
Does that mean they're already dead? But is this a time-based thing? Do we need it faster? They all already died. Well, that's not good. Pretty fucked on this because they were already dead probably by the time we were already trying to set this up. So even though we had invested an hour and a half into getting this dead or alive glitch to work, and then inevitably it didn't, I had exactly one more idea. Last year, my brother and I attempted to and successfully saved the first Marine squad on this mission. Now, during that trick, we got into a huge argument because we tried to do what is called an AUP. This stands for Arbitrary Unit Possession, and it allows you to play as an NPC. And in that instance, we were trying to become the Sentinel Constructor, the little tiny Sentinel that can fly around. Now, my thought was, this is the only method that we could potentially use to see the Marines alive and up close. And I had a realization. I might be able to do this glitch fairly easily with the Acrophobia skull. Now, this glitch is very similar to the Dead or Alive glitch in that you need to kill 3 Sentinel Constructors right off the rip. You also need to kill the Grunt and destroy the 2 Sentinel panels. But if you throw a 6th grenade after these steps, the second player can then go up to a wall and stick themselves in the face with a plasma grenade. If you go up into the same pinch as before and then restart the mission, you can run through the exact same steps again without the pinch. Now, after the second player sticks themselves in the face and dies, using the Acrophobia skull, you can fly in the air and activate the switch. The plan was to go down to 2 rooms where the next Sentinel Constructor is scripted to load in. If we did it just right, my brother would load in as this Sentinel. And what do you know, in less than 5 minutes, we were able to pull this off. But now, my brother would need to make it all the way to the end of the mission successfully without getting blown up.
Hey guys, we didn't see each other.
Now they're just like, nah, actually that you did this successfully, we're not going to give you a single checkpoint, even though we give you checkpoints generously throughout this entire mission.
All right, dude, you're whining maxing. I need you to be happy maxing.
I'm trying to get a checkpoint by activating this. Alright, I need you to come follow through. Just don't die and I won't throw any grenades. Open this door, my little friend. So one gigantic issue that we found when doing this was that we were not getting any checkpoints. And on the Mission Sacred icon, you are scripted to get checkpoints in pretty much every single room, and often the same structures have multiple checkpoints. However, I was not overly concerned about this because we still had a cutscene overlay checkpoint to get. When you activate the gondola, this is an automatic checkpoint. We would just need to make it to this gondola without my brother exploding.
I can take down a shield. I can't really do much else, I guess. Hello?
Sople.
All right, dude. We're gonna do Mario 64 right now. The intro. Woo. Filming you. I'm filming you without your consent.
I love it. Okay, we should get a checkpoint now. Was there no checkpoint? Alright, just be careful. So yeah, unbeknownst to me, there are no checkpoints available after a player becomes the Sentinel Constructor. Throughout the rest of the entire mission, even if you cross a cutscene overlay that normally triggers an automatic checkpoint, you won't get any. So it was pivotal that my brother survived because we would have to go back and redo this entire glitch from the beginning if he did blow up. You're so small that you can actually go through that crack in that door before it's supposed to open. So you might be able to go through that crack right there.
Oh my gosh. I thought... Alright. Yep. Okay.
What's back there?
Oh.
It just leads to right here. Wall?
I just wanted you to run a little bit. No run skis.
Alright, stay back. Stay back! You fuck! Why?
Why would you throw a grenade?
I said stay back. Stay back.
After you're throwing a grenade, you said stay back.
It's the exact same problem last time.
Yeah, you kill me each time. There's a common denominator here. It's not me.
It's just that you get overzealous every time, and then you're just like, I'm gonna keep going even though we don't have any checkpoints, and you're super sensitive to explosions because you have like 1 HP. Now stick yourself.
I'm not super sensitive. Don't say that. It's hurt my feelings. Second crash out's coming.
So it took 15 minutes, but we were able to set this up successfully and get my brother to spawn in as the Sentinel Constructor again. This time we wasted no time, and I just let my brother push forward through the entire mission because he has the ability to activate switches and go through small cracks.
I loaded.
Oh, you are still there. Perfect. So sometimes when you're doing the Dead or Alive or the AUP glitch, when you hit load zones, the player that's doing the glitch will just spawn back as a regular character. This was a legitimate concern of mine, and after the first load zone, I actually loaded forward onto him. So it appeared he would have the ability to go all the way to the end of the mission, and he might just be able to fly right up to this secret Marine squad while they're still alive. Okay, now what I need you to do is I need you to come over here and go all the way down this green light and then go to the right and see if you can see the alive Marines.
Well, it's all the way down?
It's all the way down and then to the right.
Really far. They're dead.
They
nope,
died?
Wait.
They're alive?
Nope. I saw one move though.
So did they die when you got there?
I don't know, because maybe they died when I turned to the right, because one was on the ground and then he like jolted.
So I guess you can't, even if you are the Sentinel Enforcer, you can't make it to these Marines. It still activates as a trigger. Even seeing these Marines alive up close and in person, I think is a like literal impossibility in this game. This is one of the Shilt Show episodes where we're like, the challenge is not possible, but
it's cool though.
You did also. You said you saw him fall to the ground?
No, what I saw was he was here and then he like jolted up, as in he was on the ground and then he like shook and then he stopped moving And it wasn't like a collision shake. It was like a more human shake. It was kind of weird.
So I believe what my brother saw was the death wobble that I was experiencing when I was first testing this by flying there with the Acrophobia skull. You don't actually see the Marines alive, but you see their bodies wiggle. Regardless, I had exactly one more variation of testing this. I redid this glitch, but I became the Sentinel constructor this time. I flew as fast as I possibly could to the secret Marine squad, and what I found was that even if you are an NPC without a player activating this area, they are already on the ground and dead. And what I found was that even if you are an NPC and head straight back there, if a player isn't in any of the previous activation areas, the Marine squad won't even be there. However, I wanted to try one more variant of this. Maybe if I took the Sentinel Constructor all the way to the Marine squad and then had a player die, they would be alive momentarily before they died again. And what I discovered was, this is exactly what happens, except they never actually stand up. When you load into this area with a player randomly, they'll just collapse to the ground and do one death wobble. Oh, they spawned in dead. What the hell? So I guess you can't do this. So to conclude this trick, yes, it is possible to see these Marines up close and in person alive, but they instantly die. Huh. So, I think it's truly impossible.